Oh man. I guess I don't want to play now. I swear we have the most disastrous starts. It's all good though. What's up, everybody? Man, it's your guy Obi. Yeah, let's get ourselves here on this camera, man. I don't know what's going on with that. That I just had that queued up, and it just decided that it did not want to do what it was supposed to do. So it's all good, man. Man, I'm hoping I don't have a too bad of an echo today. Let's see here. Still got that weird sound. Yeah, man. So today's show, we're gonna talk about a few things. Well, cause you know we try to keep up. Man, I'm telling y'all what, man. I took my muscle relaxers that I'm supposed to take. I used to take these things every day. I'm trying to figure out how the hell I was functioning on those things because I hadn't taken them in a few weeks. I took a couple last night before I went to bed, and let me tell y'all, man, I slept all night. I got up this morning. I was in the fog this whole morning. I fell asleep again for another 3 or 4 hours. I just woke up, man, like maybe 5:30, and felt like a semi-conscious human. So, bear with me today if things are a little crazy, cause oh my god, my green screen is not acting right. It's let's see here. Let's see if I back it up some. I told y'all, man, we had the most disastrous starts. Uh, my God. Well, we gonna try to chug on through. Look like I'm gonna have to do some readjusting here of my area, man. Oh my God. Well, I'm expanding, so I guess that's a good thing. But like I said, man, we're gonna talk about my man Jay Z a little bit, uh, Puffy a little bit, the guy Luigi a little bit. Um, we ain't gonna be here long. I actually got my last night of homework tonight, so that's also a good thing too. I get a couple of weeks off of school. Um, I mean, that means I get to dive into this a little deeper. Maybe do 2 broadcasts a day or something. I am really trying my best to do a better job at getting here. This weekend it was kind of tough to do though, because the weekend was kind of hectic. Had some things go on family wise. Uh, I think what I'm gonna have to do too is I'm gonna have to invest in another mic too. Trying to run from two different sound sources here is starting to become a issue for me too. Um, but anyway, what I got over here to start off with? I wanted to start off with this video of this guy, man. But it didn't want to let me play it. It was re-looping by itself. Let's see if it's gonna do it now.
26-year-old Luigi Mangione has been charged in connection with the fatal shooting of United Healthcare.
Okay, so that one's gonna play, of course, the one that I'm not looking for. So let's start talking about this. I just looked at this right here. So it says that Lawsuit puts Sean Diddy Combs and Jay Z decades long friendship in the spotlight. Uh, let's see here. Let's see what we can get on here. Since my since my end wants to. So let's see here. There we go. Got me up off of there. All right, so this is what we're gonna look at. This is the first thing we're gonna look at. All right. So I don't know. It doesn't seem to be too long of a read. Yeah, yeah, probably about 2 minutes. So, um, basically though, from what I heard, is my guy Jigga Man is getting sued by a young lady that supposedly him and your boy Diddy did the Diddy thing to together. Another weird thing that I heard today too, along with that, was there was supposedly a female in the room that watched this thing go on. Um, I find that absolutely strange, sort of troubling, because again, um, while we have these constant situations that involve women being done wrong, because you got to be careful about what you say on these platforms. But what we have again is there is a woman apparently involved in the in the accusations, because we can't say if this stuff is true or not because it's still all accusations. But I feel like that is a issue that often gets overlooked when we start talking about things as far as the nature of trafficking and some and assaults and all kind of stuff. Because this kind of stuff going all the time. And um, one of the things I think about is the way that men are perceived. They almost have to have a woman in their midst to be able to do a lot of this stuff and be successful at it. And be successful at it. What I mean when I say that is to go undetected, the way they go undetected. Um, because uh, the way that men are perceived, it typically causes you to be more aware of them and what they're doing. They can't really pull off the stuff that they used to pull off, which is a good thing because creep guys exist, and they were once a time they were benefiting from women not having certain amount of knowledge about what it is that they do and what to look for when they get approached by these guys. So, um, in a sense, we've gotten better in getting them that message. But what we have to do now is start to warn young women that women can be dangerous too. Um, a lot of these times, like I said, and you start to get into these circles and these syndicates and all of this kind of stuff, man. There is a woman involved in the operation at some level. Like I said, it almost has to be. You saw with Epstein, his main partner was a woman. So um, uh, so it's when you look at this kind of thing and they say that it's a woman in the room, I'm not very surprised to hear that. But let's get into some of this article here. Um, say the chorus to Sean Diddy Combs songs "Do You Like It" Do You Want It, which also features Jay Z, ask a now eerily prophetic question. Want to know what it's like to be me? Say, bro, they is out of line for starting off that. Why they start off like that, man? Hey, you know what? They play way too much. Anyways, but at the time, perhaps no one knew what it was like to be a Combs, to be Combs better than Jay Z, who was born Sean Carter. Both rappers, producers, and businessmen, they topped charts and commanded respect in the recording booth and the boardroom in equal measure. But then, but there was seemingly no rivalry. Back in 2009, Combs was asked by a reporter if he remembered a photo showing him in a conversation with Carter. Combs explained the moment had been captured at his birthday party. Jay Z had flown in specifically to attend, even though he had limited time, Combs recalled. Um, because like I said, I've been seeing uh a lot of videos and stuff and trying to tie this man in the way and really showing the depths of either their friendship or partnership. It's probably more of a partnership, perhaps, more than likely. Um, Whatever it is, they've worked closely together for a long time. And the other thing that gets pointed out a lot that I see is um, how many people who've been accused of doing rotten things to women, and he's connected to these people in some form or fashion. So, not to say that he participates in anything, because, like I said, um, everything that's been thrown his way has been a matter of speculation, especially according to him. Uh, but to be connected to all of these shady characters uh, should raise some kind of questions. All right, well, so let's get back into this some more. Uh, People see us as competitors and different icons in the hip hop game, but that was just a moment of two black brothers telling each other how much they appreciate each other, Combs said. Years later, Combs sit in federal detention awaiting trial on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. Carter is loath to be connected to him through a lawsuit is doing exactly that. You know what? I don't know how many times I have read one of these damn uh, articles, and it is weirdly worded like this. Like, what is that? Carter is loath to be connected to him through a lawsuit is doing exactly that. Please, please, can we proofread so us that be getting you know what? I'm gonna do a better job, man, of of reading of reading these things before I get online. So okay. A woman who in October filed a civil lawsuit alleging she was essayed by Combs in 2000 amended her suit on Sunday to include allegations that she was also assaulted by Carter. The plaintiff, identified as Jane Doe, was 13 at the time of the alleged essay at the MTV Video Music Awards after party. First of all, why is a 13-year-old at an MTV after party? What are you doing there? Who sanctioned that? Who said that was okay? Secondly, why is she in the area where anybody was able to get their hands on her long enough to do something like this to her? Like what's so you have to start asking yourself if it's like that back in backstage, like what is really going on behind the curtain? What are they doing? Yeah, like what are they doing? I don't understand, man. Um, it sounds like a lot of irresponsible people are mixed in with opportunists and predators. A woman, oh, I'm sorry, we went there. All right. In a statement to CNN, Carter called the allegations so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint and not a civil one. So he said he's prepared to go to trial about it. Whomever could admit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? He said. On Monday, Carter filed a motion to ask the court to either dismiss her claim or rule that Doe has to reveal her identity. Combs has pleaded not guilty to the charges and has denied all wrongdoing in roughly 30 civil lawsuits that have been filed against him. Several of those lawsuits include allegations from accusers who have chosen to file under pseudonyms. In recent months, two federal judges rejected efforts of two of Combs' female accusers to anonymously bring sexual assault lawsuits against him in rulings that highlighted the challenges of using pseudonyms. With this week's legal development, Combs and Carter's parallel career paths are gaining renewed attention. Um, so that's kind of, I don't know, that's a weird thing to have to address because while on one hand you do want victims to be protected, so that they can't be um, they can't be, well, so they can't be go through further harassment by either the general public or the people they're making the accusations against. Although, while I am inclined to think that if these people, if they doing this, they have a recollection of probably most of the people that they've done something to. So it's you have to protect those victims, but at the same time, it's almost like, okay, who are these people so that they can be vetted, because we also know at the same time sometimes um, people take advantage of situations too. Um, we've seen it, but I'm more inclined to think that that shouldn't be a problem for them to be go under a pseudonym just based on protecting the victim. Now maybe after the um, the trials and everything are over, and you find out that this person was falsely accused, then you release other people's names and all that, because at that point we need to know who these type of people are. But if this person has been assaulted, then yeah, I don't really think they should be exposed for that. Um, I think that should be something that's kept secret as long as that person chooses to keep it secret. Now, if they choose to come out and have a conversation about what they went through, then that's another thing. So, the the more I sit here and talk about it, I'm kind of looking at Jay Z sideways, because like, why are you trying to get this lady or man um, to expose themselves in this manner? And see, this is going back to something that happened during the election. Is celebrities are still banking on their celebrity being enough to sway public opinion about things that they're doing, but as you can see, all of the things that've been going on here lately um, are speaking uh, totally different lingo, if I can put it that way. So sound like Jay Z is in a little bit of hot water, right? Or maybe he confident, but then again, when you know you have, and this is not me making an accusation of him. Let me say that first before anybody has a fit and say I'm accusing somebody, or you know how some people get about things. Um, but when you have the type of money that he has, you know that and you're a part of the machine, then you can afford to be um, you can afford to be that confident. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Give me some water. Yeah, but you can afford to be that confident and say, "Yeah, come on out and show yourself," because you already know that you have a machine in place that can take this person's identity and amplify it in any manner that you want. And in this manner, you want to be able to amplify this person negatively. So you could say, see, this is the person who's doing this, and then you're gonna rely on the public, or the you know you're gonna rely on the public to be uh, your benefactor, so to say, to give you the benefit of the doubt, to give you the leg up um, on justice, which is sick and gross for them to do. But this is how power works. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you still have a if you're still having moments trying to understand how this is tied to somebody with power, this is what it is. You know, if they don't know who she is or he is, okay, because at this time you can't never be too sure. Um, if you don't know who this anonymous person is, they can't take their name and sully it, and they can't take the humanity from the person. If you can't take if they don't have an identity, if they you can't identify the human and snatch the humanity from, which is something that they should be doing for victims of any kind of crime or anything in general. People getting gunned down by police all the way up to these type of things. The people who suffered at the hands of these people, who either become deceased or assaulted or whatever, those people should always be have their identity held secret until the proper time, if the proper time ever comes around. But the way that the machine works, they need to show these people, and so they can create the narratives about these people that dehumanizes these people, and that what helps the machine stay oiled. Okay, so let's keep getting on here because I don't want to really get into too much of that type of thing. Excuse me. Excuse me. Combs and Carter traveled in the same circles in the past, having built their prospective business empires on a foundation of hip hop success before expanding to other enterprises. Both founded record labels. Combs and Bad Boy Records, and Carter with Rock Nation had helped launch careers of numerous artists. They also shared similar backstories, being raised by single mothers in New York. Um, they make sure they put that in there, right? In 1997, following the murder of their mutual friend and Combs' protege, Christopher Notorious Big Wallace, or Biggie Smalls, Combs and Carter collaborated on Carter's My Lifetime Volume 1 album, and Combs' single "Do You Like It? Do You Want It?" Carter shared in 2010 that he had spoken with Wallace, who was best friends with Combs, an hour before the rapper was gunned down. He wasn't a troublemaker at all. He was just a funny, charismatic guy, Carter said at the time. For him to die so senselessly, I spoke to him that night, and he was so happy to be in Los Angeles after a whole East Coast, West Coast thing. 2 years ago, during a celebration that would have been Wallace's 50th birthday, Carter mentioned the void that the murders of Wallace and another legendary rapper, Tupac Shakur, left on hip hop. Bro, you filled them shoes though, Combs said of Carter. You came in and we definitely gave thanks. You definitely came in, and I just know how much Big really looked up to Jay. Combs and Carter joined forces in 2005 to jointly present a check for $1 million during a televised telethon for Hurricane Katrina relief. In 2020, their longtime friendship was on display when Carter stood beside Combs during Rock Nation's Black Billionaire Luncheon. We're here together and we're going to stay together and tighter, Combs said as Carter agreed. United we stand and ain't nothing else. Carter paid tribute to Combs during a video presentation shown as part of Combs receiving a Lifetime Achievement recognition at the 2022 BET Awards. Here's this guy from a neighborhood similar to where I grew up that made it to these unreachable heights, Carter said. Uh, Puff, Combs' childhood nickname, was the first one that came through and made us feel like it was us. So, in that last little bit of reading that that I was just doing, where I'm mouth is dry and tired from doing, but these, like I said, all of this stuff is accusations. It's they people still going through the motions of lawsuits, and court dates still gotta come, and people still gotta be proven to be guilty or whatever. But the way that they write these things, you see, they trying to tie in. He talked to Tupac, or he talked to Biggie an hour before Biggie was shot. Because, like I said, I'm surprised we haven't started having those conversations about whether those two um, had something to do with Big's death together, because both of them could stand to benefit from it, both in different ways. There was always a rumor right after Big's death that Jay Z got a rhyme book of his and that he was using that man's raps. But we not here to do gossip, so I leave that to the gossip channels. But just thinking about the person who this lady who has to file this lawsuit, I have another article here about Jay Z in denying the claims, and this is kind of covering it in a little bit. Um, excuse me. Um, He gonna try to use all the money and all the avenues that he has at his disposal, um, to get out ahead of this and stop any more momentum, because it's already gained enough of momentum. It had already been gaining momentum in the background, because he had, Jaguar White Wright had already mentioned this guy in a few different instances. They they even dug up the Rihanna interview where he said she either sign or go out whatever story window they were in. Even though they said it was said in a joking manner, the fact that something like that was said and acknowledged and on tape for them to go back and look at in regards to what this man is being accused of being, that's not really a good look. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, those times were different times whenever that statement was made. You could look at Rihanna and tell how young she was in that picture. She was a baby. Then you have you also have Foxy Brown, who has her own story of whatever went on between them, was still very unclear. So he was attached to R. Kelly and Aaliyah, and we know how that thing went between those two, and they were working closely at the time, and they were close, and they both, like I said, were both attached to Aaliyah. So it's like, while we can say, yeah, you guilty to proven innocent, like, hey bro, this the stuff that they bringing up, it don't look good. Do I want any one of these people to be guilty of that? No. I don't want to have to think about there are people that they subjected to the shit that they say they subjected them to. And then underneath that, these are people that I grew up listening to and admiring in a certain, and seeing them in a certain light. So hearing that they may be involved in this kind of thing is also troubling too. Um, but seeing all this go down is interesting, to say the least. Very interesting, very interesting. Yeah. These two, man, but I wish I could find that video. Um, I wish I could find that video. Yeah, here's the other one I'm looking for right here. Let me make sure we don't have any videos attached to this. No, that's not it. I think this was the one that had that video. Yeah, because I think this is from a couple of days ago. Yeah, I think this is from a couple of days ago. And this is another long read. I don't know. Um, yeah, this is, well, yeah, this is from him saying that Okay, so let's stop it here. Because we're gonna watch that video just to kind of let them talk about it a little bit. Um, but I'm very interested in seeing how this turns out. Who else is gonna be dragged into the spotlight? Because like these people are in us. They are in their own circle. You know, they all hang around each other. They all support each other. They all are connected to each other in business. Apparently, all connected to each other personally. So, um, I'm inclined to believe that when you be around people and you are this closely involved, you kind of have an idea of what they're doing, or you just might be involved in what they're doing, which is, to be 9 times out of 10, in order for you to even be able to be close enough to have an idea of what these people are doing, either at some point you're going to have to join up or you're going to get away from them because at that point you become a liability. So, um, what I think everything is going to hinge on whether you see the most when you start to see the most panic from people is if this man gets found guilty. If 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 they find Puff guilty, um, you're gonna see you're gonna see what you need to see. The people that you see go into the most huffy puffy panic is are people that you're gonna see, and if you notice, a lot of those people who names keep getting mentioned in a lot of the craziness that's surrounding Jay Z in any kind of shape form, from Megan Thee Stallion all the way through J Lo. Um, all of those people were on the political trail, making their plea to you to vote for this for Vice President Harris. So, like I said, man, there's so much stuff that went on that if you're a conspiracy theorist, man, I bet you right now you are like in one of the best times that you've been in for what you do in a long time, because it's so much out here, man, that you can go by that goes by way of speculation. Speculation is at an all-time high, and the way that this speculation is going, man, it's like it's closer to being like a fact. You know what I'm saying? Um, but the way that you see the media attacking these two guys too has something to do with that too, because um they shape stories in ways that will make people look bad when they want them to look bad. Because we talked about it before. The guy from Abercrombie and Fitch has pretty much had the same type of charges brought up against him, but he's been allowed to go home or whatever. So they don't even talk about his case, but they talk about Puffy's case. This guy he's had the benefit of not being discussed much at all. Initially, for the first couple of days, he was discussed, but then it kind of slowly faded away. And see, this is the other part about the machine. It's still a tier system within that machine. That guy is old white money. The Abercrombie and Finch guy, he probably connected to so many people that they can't even afford to have him discussed, because that really will bring some very, very prominent people's name into the spotlight. Yeah, probably some of your favorite people, probably some of the lawmakers. Um, so this puffy stuff is good for business for them. Um, Cause like people don't like to hear it, but when you want the perfect distraction for most everything is if you can find somebody black doing something like this, that's large and big enough and heinous enough for you to say, hey man, this is very important that you should pay attention to this more than this. So um, that's just what it is, and at this point, I don't even know if it's I know, but I ain't gonna say I don't know, but I know it's a lot of racism and propaganda in tandem. Um, and some of the propaganda is that it causes stuff like young men to be able to be raped because the propaganda about men, being being assaulted like that is somehow funny or a joke or not to be taken seriously. So that plays a part in it not being discussed. And then of course, it's like they have this hesitancy to really vilify one of their own. Oh, they'll tell you about the bad shit they do, but if you look at the way that they get covered versus the way that everybody else get covered, they have a very hard time vilifying themselves. Even when they do the most wildest shit, it's like to vilify themselves to a point where there's no return like they'll do everybody else is hard to do. They'll give themselves the excuse of having mental shit going on, or their mental health is damaged. They got all kind of excuses because they'll say, "Yeah, we did this bad thing, but it was because of this, and this." While everybody else, when you do the bad thing, it's just because you're bad. Um, because the the fact that take an example of the stuff with Alex Jones and the school and those kids. When I see it's discussed, they don't discuss the kids as the victims. They don't discuss the shooter as a villain. They discuss Alex Jones and what he had to say because addressing any of those other two issues will bring up too much shit, and then it like bringing up that kind of stuff expose people for things. So you be having a set of smart people who sit around tables and say that we not gonna do that because we don't really want to we don't want to start the domino effect. Let's see when this came out. So this say what's today? So this was from 2 days. This right here was from 2 days ago. So I don't know if we're gonna mess with that. And I am running into an hour, and I said I didn't want to go past an hour. Um, so let's jump into this. All right. So I'm gonna tell y'all this while I'm moving on to this next subject. Like I got it wrong. I really really got it wrong, right? And I'm gonna tell you how I got it wrong. Okay. So was it when the first couple of days of watching the coverage of the CEO guy um, getting deleted, um, I was kind of bothered by the reactions, but I was letting other situations that I had seen the same type of reaction like cloud my judgment of this. Um, I'm inclined to be one that's not um, gonna celebrate the death of somebody. Um, I feel like a lot of times um, the people who had their death celebrated aren't doing things that deserve that. Like I saw them celebrate Kevin Samuel's death, and that kind of stuck with me because he hadn't hurt anybody. He had only been expressing his opinions, and he believed in his heart of hearts that he was doing favors by people of bringing attention to the thing that he brought attention to. And when he passed, I saw a lot of people celebratory of that because of the messaging that he brought forward and how the messaging that he brought forward affected them. It didn't take or give them. It didn't take or add anything. They just really didn't like what was said because it affected them mentally in a way that wasn't positive. So when I saw that, I felt a little different about people. So and I saw it happen a couple of other times. Um, but that was one that really stuck out for me because I saw a lot of people celebrating that. But this time, I was feeling kind of the same because I was under the impression that I don't it ain't because it ain't wasn't so much as him, but it was like okay, he got a kid or two that got to kind of see this stuff. His wife got to kind of see this stuff. But then it started to slowly leak out all of the stuff that he was involved in, the stock stuff, the AI stuff. And then I caught wind of I have to find a video again, but I caught wind of something about his wife was like the statement she made was a little weird. Um The other thing I heard is that while he was outside and deceased, they didn't even stop the meeting. They went ahead and had the meeting. So I was just like, so when the more stuff that began to leak out, I was like, man, this dude was really a damn goon. So I'd like to apologize to anybody who heard me question your reasoning. I really understand it. Me myself, I'm not gonna, indulge in that. But I'm definitely gonna tell, not gonna be judgmental of anybody who does, because if you done had somebody that you love lose their life and it wasn't no it and it could have been addressed, hey man, you got every right to be mad. You got every right to express yourself. All the rage you have inside, you got a right to express that. Um, so it was basically what I see it as an eye for an eye, and we are lucky to be in a time that civilization rules the day because those are situations where nobody that he knew would be left if we lived in worse times. Um, the what I have been seeing. Hold on, y'all. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I kind of lost my train of thought, but just we're gonna start another train of thought. But just thinking about or just hearing about all of the stuff that they have been doing to people, man. Um, it's he had it coming. I don't really like to say that about people a lot, like, cause is um, I believe everybody, deserves to hold on to life for as long as they can, because at some point you can become a better person, and you can do the things that you need to do that's reparative, excuse my language, to the people that you offended. Um, but at the same time, the people that you offended have to allow for you to even be, they have to allow that for you once you done took people's loved ones away from them, man. And it was callous in nature the way that you did it. And the reason that you did it was so that you could continue to build for your people's future. So you sacrifice somebody else so that you can be enriched more than you already were, as if you weren't already comfortable. So um the rage is absolutely understood. Um I they caught the guy. Uh so maybe this they caught the guy today or yesterday. Uh, this was the one I wanted to look at. That was still the wrong one. So we're gonna look at these two right here. But yeah, they had got this AI together that was um automatically denying people, man. Uh, I heard some of the stories about this AI. Uh, I heard some of the stories about this AI. 12. The lady had cancer, or they thought she had cancer. It went into remission. She said she wasn't feeling well. She felt like it was coming back. She had a scan, and they said they didn't find none at the time. She came back and said, "I think I need another scan because I still don't feel well. This is the same way I felt the first time the cancer was coming." They told her, "Hey, man, you got to wait another 12 weeks before we give you another scan, and regardless of how you telling us we feel, because the AI says you don't need it." So by the time she able the 12 weeks go by and she's able to get the second scan. It's too late. The cancer came back. It spread beyond an operable state, and she ended up passing. And that's just one story, and that's just kind of paraphrasing and making it quick into a bundle where you don't really get into the to the heart to listen to details. I just put it to you like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like my intention is not to bring you down in spirit, and that's something that will if you listen to that entire story. So you have these people who doing harm to the people they are supposed to be helping. It's a wild state. Okay, so let's get into this. We got about maybe 30 more minutes at the most that we gonna be messing around with this. We're not gonna have a long show tonight. We're not gonna be on tomorrow. I am actually gonna be streaming on my Good Guys Finish Live page. I do some other stuff too on the side. So we'll be doing this every other day just to give me time to have what I need to have together. Just over a year before United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was murdered, this week in Midtown Manhattan, a lawsuit filed against the insurance giant he helmed revealed just how draconian its claims denying process had become. Last November, the estates of two former UHC patients filed suit in Minnesota, alleging that the insurer used an AI algorithm to deny and override claims to elderly patients that had been approved by their doctors. So, what they had going on was these older people were on that Medicaid, Medicare. I always get them mixed up. But the doctor would say, "Hey man, these people need this treatment," and then they would run through the algorithm, and the algorithm would be like, "Yeah, you wrong. You don't need these treatments." So in essence, what's happening is you have a group of people who don't have medical expertise that set an algorithm of approval over people who have medical expertise. So it is money over bitches. You hear me? It is MOB. These healthcare companies operate on MOB status, bro. They mob status. To put it simply, MOB, money over bitches. And they look at us like the bitches. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, I understand the Luigi guy. Because when you start to talk about it and you start to look at stuff like this, if you don't get if you don't get upset, I have to ask like, where is your passion and your fire at? The algorithm in question, known as Predict, allegedly had a 90% error rate, and according to families of two deceased men who filed the suit, UHC knew it. As the lawsuit made its way through the courts, another anger regarding the massive insurer's predilection towards denying claims has only grown, and speculation about the assassin motive suggests that he may have been among those upset with the UHC's coverage. Before I really get into that guy, I want to get some more information. So probably the next show is going to be dedicated to this guy right here. I might be a little late on it, but I want to be kind of thorough in what I do in regards to this. Um, I feel woefully unprepared today because I've been a ghost for the last 3 days. It just kind of floating around. Finally felt like myself enough to get on air today. Anyway, um, as that lawsuit made its way through the courts, anger regarding the master. Okay, we already went there. They though we though we don't yet know the identity of the person who shot Thompson, they do now, or his reasoning. So there, apparently there's a manifesto too. Um, he wrote. They say he wrote the words "deny, defend, and dispose" on a shell casing of bullets used to shoot the CEO, and a message that makes it sound like not like the killer was aggrieved against the insurance industry's aggressive denial of coverage to sick patients. Beyond the shooter's own motives, it is clear the shockingly celebratory reaction online to Thompson's murder, that anger about American insurance and healthcare system has reached a point of literal bloodlust. You think so? Like you got to think about the how. Okay, there's no way that insurance should take as much of people's income that it does. Health insurance that you don't use. We gonna talk about health insurance. We're not even gonna get into the other forms of insurance where they're taking advantage of people. Okay, we're just gonna talk about income. We're gonna talk about this health insurance because health insurance is life or death. Health insurance is life or death. They literally running a racket that says you get to die if you can't afford to pay us to go for your doctor to prescribe you the care you need. Not only are we gonna run on that model, we're gonna create a system and set the algorithm to deny you uh uh more than half the time. MOB, man, money over bitches. Money over bitches. Money over bitches. So they caught him today or yesterday, like I said. I'm already seeing people skeptical of it, but like my thing is this: you don't have to be you don't have to be a genius to do what this guy did. You just have to be um, you just have to take advantage of opportunities presented to you, which also doesn't take a genius. Maybe it does. Who knows? But while someone may be proficient enough to be able to pull off what he pulled off, they may not be proficient enough beyond that point to know that you don't do what he did. Or he was just thinking maybe he had already seen the outpouring of support that he got, and it made him get comfortable enough to feel like nobody would turn him in. But he got turned in apparently at a McDonald's. Uh, I guess he was having lunch or something, and somebody recognized him, which is weird to me because I can't. There are a couple of pictures, like maybe like I said, I suffer from some medical conditions. Sometimes I have to take my medication, and it kind of takes me out for a couple of days, so I might miss something. So maybe I missed a picture of him or something, but I'm trying to figure out, does that dude look like the person in the picture, and how did they know that was him? So it's already a lot of people that's kind of skeptical about who they got and what how he was caught and the things he was caught with. Um, what I said was if he got caught with a gun in a manifesto and he was on his way to do something to somebody else, you know. Um, all I know is he got the CEOs in hiding. So it says his name is Luigi Mangione. The man accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson yelled to the press about an insult to the intelligence of the American people. That was the video I was trying to play at the beginning of the podcast that didn't start, was him talking to the crowd. Um, but the the net like I said on my next show when I get a chance to do better research than I have been doing, um, we're gonna talk about the reaction of the CEOs. I gotta find that video of the guy over him, kind of wagging his finger at people and being totally out of touch. Um, and I'm hearing about them going into hiding and taking their names and faces off of their websites. But I'm like, don't you realize that people that are once if somebody wanted y'all, the day that they heard about this stuff happening, they had already gotten y'all face. You're too late. You know the idiocy of it. The idiocy of it. You're too late. So you know they really could have. They could have came out and showed a little empathy toward this guy that died and toward the people who are affected and toward the people who are affected more so. But nope. Guess what we're gonna do? We are going to accuse everybody of trying to be out to get us. Yeah, they out to get us, and let's go hide. Let's go hide. And you think I'm playing when I say they about to turn up or they're gonna try to attempt to turn up and start making all kind of weird little rules to try to get back at everybody because that's how these people operate, man. They're like children. Just imagine you give your kids you gave you either people who got small kids now or have kids. Just imagine you gave your kids control of you for a month. That's the kind of chaos that these people are capable of causing. When you seeing all these people uh, making 30, 300, 400 times more than the hardest working person in their company. You know what I'm saying? They going into hiding because they know that they wrong. See, if you're not wrong about nothing, you don't have a reason to take your face off of nothing. You don't have a reason to hide. You don't have a reason to be. You don't have a reason to be ashamed to be who you being. If you wasn't already involved in doing shit to people that would piss people off, you wouldn't have a reason to hide. I ain't never had a reason to hide. You know why? Because I don't do shit to people that I have to go hide for. Anytime you have the choice of doing right by your neighbor or fucking your neighbor over and you choose to fuck your neighbor over, then whatever comes and steps on your foot at that time, you probably have it coming. It don't matter whether I think it's cool or not that it happened to you. That shit don't matter. So these people, they scared for a reason. They should be scared. There should be a level of fear for them right now because it's this happening was a small sample of what could really happen on a larger scale for them. So it even got these news stations finally wanting to have the discussion about healthcare in America, even though we've been trying to talk about it forever. Somebody brought it to our attention that they don't even talk about Medicare for all no more because once they stumped the Bernie character out, they had already knew that whole type of movement was buried, or at least they were hoping so. Um, but this is going to bring that discussion right back into the forefront because it's like the easiest layup in the world is to give everybody health care. You do that, man, and you're gonna lock yourself in forever because it's so many people here who need it. But they also know it's so many people here who need it. So what they were doing is they were denying people because they know if you sick enough, man, you're gonna pay for that shit out of your pocket. You're gonna pay for it out of your pocket. So they don't have to give up no money and you still paying for the shit. Or you just gonna go away. Either way it go, they still getting the money that you gotta pay them. If you going to work every week still, you getting paid every 2 weeks still. They still taking that insurance money out of your check. They still getting their money while at the same time they got something running in the background that's gonna tell you no every time they get a chance to. Gonna let your granny die because they feel like she 91 and she old enough and they don't need she doesn't need the help. Old man broke his leg. The doctor telling him that this man need to be able to be mobile. He 91. He in the last years of his life. Why would you deny this man his health care? Why would you deny this man the satisfaction of being able to move around with his family for the last part of his life to save you a couple of $1,000 when you worth a couple of billion? So, like I said, I got it wrong. Because in the beginning, I was like, hey, man, I don't really think it's cool for y'all to do that. But once I started thinking, when I started reading into the goonery that these dudes was into, then I'm with everybody else. Yeah, chew their ass up. You know what I'm saying? But I can admit when I'm wrong about something. I say, hey, man, yeah, maybe I should do that because maybe his kids and stuff is like that. But when you start to think about the fact that he probably instilling this weird shit into his kids, but then you can see that his wife don't even have real fight in her for him. He that you know what type of person he was. You took people's lives into your hands, killed people so you could make a few extra dollars that you didn't even need, man. Now you can't even enjoy none of it. Yeah. I see somebody in my comments saying that their premium increases are insane. And yes, it is diabolical. Very diabolical. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, man, one thing that this is probably gonna lead to, it's gonna be some crazy people trying the shit again. Somebody else gonna try it. You know, what I don't want to see is people have to suffer that because these people have to go and work for these companies because this is the only way that they can go feed their family. I'm not talking about a Brian Thompson because I'm not talking about him because he doesn't even count in any of this. I'm talking about people like the janitors and the receptionists and the people on the customer service floor. You know, all the people that when they go to work for these goons that don't get the treatment that they deserve. I don't want nothing to happen to those people. Which the way shit is set up, those will be the exact people who will suffer from a nut taking cue from this and and trying to do something else because the CEOs have decided that we're gonna go dig a hole in the ground and we're gonna go stay in there until we feel like the air is cleared. So you know, hey man, we dealing with goonery on a level that's way worse than any pookie that you know. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, if you from around the hood or you hood adjacent, and most of us are, it's hard to find somebody in the streets that's this fucked up, man. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to find somebody in the streets that's this wild with shit. This is like I said, it's MOB. It's money over bitches and we the bitches. So I don't know. We're gonna have to watch this, and I'm wondering if um any kind of legislation is gonna come out of this where they choose to finally address these health insurance companies. Um, like you said, like I said, we see CEOs kind of scared right now. So it's not just the healthcare
Care
crisis
over
in other
perceived
industries because
corruption.
these other
Mangione
industries
likely views
know
himself as a hero of sorts who has finally
that they're
decided to
doing
act
things to
upon
the
such
people that's just
injustices.
as
ABC News
fucked up.
also obtained a copy of the alleged killer's handwritten
Because you
screed
seen
that says these
I think it was
parasites
Blue Cross
simply
Blue
had it
Shield.
coming.
Specifically, he states how we are the number one most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet the life.
Was that it? What is going on? I don't know. Something just started playing in my ear by itself. Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. Um, kind of threw me off. Um, but yeah, the other thing that I've heard that I ain't heard nobody talk about yet was this whole thing with the anesthesia. Okay, so what I think this is Blue Cross Blue Shield. I think they had planned on putting a time limit on the anesthesia and charging you after a certain amount of time of being under. And it happened the same day that this guy got shot. and 24 hours later they retracted that. Like I said, man, goonery on a level that we ain't never seen before. Not personally, with our own two eyes. They were prepared to say when you go to surgery, your doctor, your surgeon, only has this amount of time to keep you under. If they not done in a certain amount of time and you don't have the money to stay asleep, then we're gonna let you wake up, or you're gonna be in debt to somebody. It's wild out here, y'all. It's wild out here. Like these people are like in a frame of mind where they want to make money and they want to take people hostage of sorts. Man, she said somebody was trying to charge people if their surgery ran too long. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's like when they have when the moment that these people were allowed to be able to pay the government to look the other way, um, when they were doing things, it's been out of control. So it all boils back down. You have to get the money out of the politics because the politicians aren't making any moves because the people that they have to hold responsible are paying them. So that's like you insulting. It's almost like you insulting your boss. You know what I'm saying? Your boss is paying you pretty good. I'm not saying that, not me. This is not me saying you let your boss run you over. What I'm saying is your boss pays you pretty good. Most people are inclined to let a few things slide, especially when the pay is good. Now, if you ain't getting paid all the well, you might feel differently. But people who bring in six figures home a year and all that stuff, they kind of, the pay is worth it. Basically, the pay is worth the shit that you endure, and it shouldn't be like that for Congress. Um, it's a lot of stuff that's wrong with them too because they coming in and they not rich. They leaving out millionaires. Some of them leaving out billionaires. Some of them been in office as long as they have because of the money that they get and the pool and all of this stuff. So this shooter guy, um, can turn out it can be two things. It can be a ripple or it can be a tsunami. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of depends on um how long the public can stay engaged, and it depends on how well media can manipulate the story. Uh, so I want to get into this more, but there's still things coming out. I don't want to rush to be um mentioning things that may have changed. So we riding real close on this hour and 30 minutes. So let's see here. Do I got anything else to cover this last 10 minutes? Oh yeah. This right here was the other thing I looked at, and this will be the last thing I look at for tonight. Because I'm still getting an understanding of this story. But what the article is about is they had a bill called the Judges Act. And I think what's happening is where they were supposed to be appointing so many judges, and I think what's happening is they're trying to set it up in a way where um, it won't go into effect after it won't because it won't go into effect after Trump gets in office. They don't want Trump to be able to have this many appointments, so he's gonna veto the bill before he go out of office. And when I tell y'all the Democrats and Joe Biden are going out bad, man, I I don't know about anybody else, but I am so exhausted by all of this. I'm ready for this administration to be gone. I'm ready for Trump to get in office so he can be gone. So by the time I'm 50 or close to 50, maybe I can get some semblance of normalcy or something or feel goodness. But me personally, I think it's gonna go downhill from here. I really do. And I'm just really hoping that I can get things going in a way that when I get ready to make the move that I want to make away from this place, I don't have to look back because it is the things that's going on here right now, man, are so ridiculous and it's unnecessary. I can understand if things were going on that was out of everybody's power, but the shit that we going through is basically a small set of people got some power and they just abusing it, and then the people who supposed to police them are under these people's control too. So everybody is just kind of subject to what these people want or don't want to do, and they don't know how much it affects the people that's under them, and they don't care. So I think 2025 is gonna be a wild year, y'all. Might as well saddle up and get ready for it. Might as well get ready for it, man. Anyway, man, brother got some homework to do tonight and stuff. Wish I could hang out with y'all longer. Plus, I gotta get this camera situation together and this broadcasting, this green screen stuff. I'm about to smoke me a blunt, man. Um, I appreciate everybody who stopped by. I had a couple people show up, got a couple comments in tonight, and I hope all y'all have a good night, man.